Hey everybody, this is Tom again in Western North Carolina. My head's not in the picture as usual, but anyways, I got it set up so you can see down here. Anyways, this video is going to be about drilling the front and drilling the back. I'm hoping I can do them both in the same video. Anyways, the first thing you have to do is lay out your places where you're going to drill and using your chair stick. Anyways, on the chair stick, here's the big one over here. You've got side marks. Side, hitting the ceiling, side, side. Anyways, those are the marks you're going to use. And on the front, you just use the side mark. And you basically only have two marks that you make, this one and this one. On this frame front piece, what I do is I just find the center of that frame front. They're supposed to be an inch. Mine are always seem like they're a little bit less than an inch, but still I find the center of that square piece on the frame front right there. Up and down, I find the center. And then once you lay them out, you can lay out both sides at the same time, but then you need to find the center so where you know where to drill in. And when you find the center, you have to have it on the ramp, what I call the drilling ramp. And that's what this thing here is. It's a ramp. And it's the angle from the front of your chair to the back of your chair. You know, if this is the front of the chair, the rungs go together as they go towards the back. And so you have to have your ramp and you figure out what that angle is. And I don't know what the angle is exactly. I think it might be somewhere near 6 degrees. But I have figured it out just like a carpenter would figure out, and I figured it out to be 7/8 of an inch per 8 inches of run. 7/8 per 8. Well, this thing here is 16, so you double that 7/8, and that comes out to 1 3/4 per 16. So allegedly, this piece of wood here is 1 3/4 inches bigger than this piece of wood here. And that makes the angle. And you have to drill the front on the low side. And so that also means that when you lay out the center, when you find the center of these holes, all three holes, you have to find them with the front setting on your ramp or however you're going to do it. You can drill this front if you just have a piece of wood. You don't need this whole ramp assembly if you just have a piece of wood. It's like 1 3/4, if that is in fact the measurement. This actually, I have to tell you, this actually is 2 inches bigger than this one here. So it's 2 16. But anyways, you theoretically can just have a board that's 2 inches and you just set this on here. And for this particular chair with these frame fronts, that doesn't work that great. If you just have round posts, like in the student chair that I make, you can just have a block of wood and hold it up like that. But anyways, you need to find these centers. And I just find this center up here by looking at this tenon, which is 1 inch, and then I sight up on top of there. And it's not a bad idea that once you've made all those three marks to take your straight edge and line up and see, they should be pretty close. They should be close to being in a straight line. If they're just a hair off, it's okay. But anyways, you know, with that same drill we've been drilling with, you drill those 3 holes. And there's no real need for me to drill them in for you guys. And so then you drill this side here on the low side. You drill on the low side because you want your rungs to go together in like that. If you drill up here, your rungs going out. So then you turn this around and put your front on this way, and then you could just turn it around like this and drill like this. And so you drill this other side on the low side also. Got to always drill that front on the low side. All right. I'm going to switch this back around here. But anyways, when you switch that around, you need to find your centers when it's on the low side. If you find them when it's level or on the high side, they're not going to be in the right place. Anyways, that's how you do the front. I'm going to set that aside. Now when you do the back, if you just put it on this same ramp, you drill on the high side, and you would drill on the high side because from your back, your rungs are going out. They're getting wider. But on this particular chair, the side rungs are not all the same length, so therefore you have what you call a compound angle. You've got the front to the back angle, and you've also got the angle that the chair is kicked out in the back. Now, one of the ways that you can achieve that compound angle is if you've just got this ramp, you can just take the appropriate size block of wood and put it under the back of the ramp like that. And that gives you a compound angle. Okay? And you still got to do on this high side. You got to drill on this high side. So anyways, let's see if I can think of and tell you the right angles. So that's one way you can drill that back, just using that ramp. Using that ramp and the block of wood. Now, I have this ramp that's made up to drill this. And I guess I should turn it over like this so you can see it a little better. Anyways, this ramp has both angles already on it. And the same thing when you lay out your marks. You don't have to have it on the ramp when you lay out the marks, but you've got to have it on the ramp when you find the center line of the post where you're actually going to drill on the post. Now you saw, what did I do with my stick? You saw on this stick that on the side marks, there was another little extra mark. And that mark is somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch higher on the chair than the actual side mark. And the reason for that is you're drilling in at an angle. And if you mark that at the regular side mark and drill in at that angle, you're going to run into the other rung. And I am not a big fan of intersecting rungs. And so I have that extra mark on there for the back post, so you move that mark up a little bit, so when you drill the back, you are not intersecting this back rung, or you're intersecting it very little. Anyways, and the reason that I am not a fan of those intersecting rungs is because it makes the distance when you put a rung in here and this rung in here. In my experience, this area between where this hole is and this hole here, that's a kind of a weak spot in the chair. And the smaller that is right there, I think the weaker it is. Anyways, that's my theory, and that's how I do it. Anyways, if I was going to drill this now, and if you was to lay this out, to figure these angles out, to figure the seat angle, how I have always done it in the past, and I don't have the picture to show you right here, but I draw a full-size picture of looking down on the seat, you know, with the posts, all the rungs and everything. And then you can measure, you know, using a square, a regular square. You can determine, you know, what those angles are. And that you don't actually find out what the degree of the angle is, but you figure out, you know, inches per such and such, inches per other inches, rise over run, run over rise, whatever you call it, if you're into carpentry. That one, anyways, there's a good picture in the magazine. I don't want to dig for it right now. I guess I will. What the heck? Somewhere in this book, in this magazine, in this here magazine, I'm going to try to show you a picture. There's a picture right there of how you determine these angles. Anyways, that's how you determine the angle from front to back. This back angle is determined by measuring from the top rung to the bottom rung. You find that distance, and in this particular chair it's 8 inches, and then you use the difference in the length of those rungs. That's 8 inches, and the difference, this is a 14-inch rung. This one's 15 1/8, so it's 1 1/8 inches per 8 inches. That's the angle. Anyways, I've got this handy dandy thing that I can use to drill these. And I don't like to clamp it like that, but I would clamp it like this. Clamp it something like this. Put those clamps on there. I'll just go ahead and drill this one for you. And on this back post, you just have to drill all the holes to the inch mark on the drill. You can't set the stop because, see this one, see up here, there's just a little bit of room there. Now I move down here, there's a lot more room there. We get that one lined up. Go ahead and drill it. Drill it on the high side. So I got that side drilled. Get these clamps off of here. Stay up there. And then this particular ramp here is set up so you just can switch it around like that and then set up like this, and you're drilling on the other side. So I would go over here like this and drill that on this side, and then my back would be drilled. So anyways, I didn't look at the clock when I started this, but it's probably about time enough for a video. You gotta figure out your angles. In this back rig I've got some numbers on here somewhere. I've got them written down. This angle here is 1 1/8 per 8. And this particular ramp is 12 inches long here, so it's 1 5/8 per 12. That's what that figures out to be. And then this over here is 16, and it's 16. It's 1 3/4 by 16 the other way. So anyways, if you can sort of follow that, but I make these ramps. I always have my drill press set up to drill straight down into this table. And by making these ramps, I can move this around any way I need to get my hole drilled. And it's still the same angle. Where if you try to tilt your table, you're sort of can only drill certain parts of your chair, and then you have to tilt the table back the other way and stuff, and it becomes, sometimes it's kind of almost impossible to get the angle. So that's why I use these ramps. And I believe at least one of the teachers I've had, that's how we did it with them, or that's what they told me to do, and that's what I do now. So anyways, whew, a lot of talk. And anyways, this is June 11th or 12th or something like that. And it's a rainy day out, but I'm thankful for the rain. It makes things grow. And I hope you're doing well out there. And thanks for watching. Thanks for the comments. So I'll see you another time.